Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Advisor with Stacey Chillemi. Today, we're here with Marcel Clarke. He is an author, a coach, a speaker, and he just recently published a book, and it's an amazing book, so you have to go out there and read it. He's going to tell you a little about it today as we talk. He is just an amazing individual, and he has so much to offer in the business specter. He has a lot of things going on, and I'm really excited to have him on the show because he just has a lot of valuable information to help people in the business world and help people grow and prosper to the area of life where they want to be. So it is so wonderful to have you here, Marcel. I am really excited to, learn more about you, and I really would love you to tell the audience a little about yourself and what you do.
Hey, Stacey, thanks for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. A little bit about me, generational entrepreneur, real estate developer, cryptocurrency investor, stock market architect. I've really been engaged in business for more than 2+ decades now, and it's just what I do best. I love people. I love creating things. I love building. I just love the ability to, create my own path. So entrepreneurship has always been in my DNA, and I'm where I'm supposed to be in life.
I love it. Now, your story highlights the intersection of cultural and corporate success. How has your cultural background shaped you as an entrepreneur in your journey?
Yeah, when I was younger, it was my dad was an entrepreneur, so watching him start his own businesses was really enlightening. At the time, obviously, I wasn't really aware of how important what he was doing was at the moment, but it shaped me as a young adult, and it definitely let me know that I was capable of doing anything I wanted to do in the world. And one of the most important aspects of business is really being able to identify with people and connect yourself with the right people and create the right circles, organizations. And that key component was passed along to me, and it's something that I learned within the culture, and it's definitely helped me transition when building my organizations in general.
Oh, I love that. Now, you often speak about breaking outdated narratives and stereotypes. How have you used your platform to empower Black-owned businesses and underrepresented communities?
Yeah, when I deal with my young entrepreneurs that are Black, I definitely try to explain to them that what they bring to the market has to be of a higher level quality service if they really want to impact that space and community. I really try to show them that you have to be more than just a Black brand. It's
Mhm.
great to market to your culture. It's great to service your culture, but if you really want to be successful, you have to create brands and services that will break the boundaries. So in order to do that, everything that I've ever done has always been a high level of service or quality. And I try to make sure that my people understand that too, that it's imperative that if you're going to place something out there in the space, it has to be excellent. We can't do good. We can't do average. It has to be excellent. I think that one stepping stone helps a lot of entrepreneurs understand what they need to deliver if they want to be successful.
Oh, I agree with you. I always, if you're going to create something, make believe in your head that if I was going to create it, if this was the $1 million business or the $1 million community, how would it look? How would you imagine it to be? And then go for that scenario, go for that look, go for that branding, because people, first impression is your last impression. So if you really put your all into it and you make something good quality and you represent and do the best you possibly can, and people see that, you will excel. Your business will excel, your community will excel, everything will excel as long as you put in the effort and people can see that in your behaviors and in your product, your service, your community, it will flourish, I think. What
Yeah,
do you
and it's different too because when I started business, it was really about a business card and shaking hands. Now you
think?
have, digital is everything. So when they look at you and they look you up, they look at your company, they look at your brand, you are your brand now. So
Yeah,
everything that I do has to be curated with my brand. Everything that I put out there has to be curated with my brand. You are the brand now. It didn't used to be that way. If I owned a company, people would go to my website. That was that. Either they wanted to do business with you or not. Now people drill down on my IG pages. They look me up. They go to my website. They'll find this interview. Like they'll do all of that before they make a decision. Which is again, that's why it's like you said. I always do everything that I make sure it's top level in everything that I do. Old school Donnie Simpson in my way. He used to say, "Shoot for the moon, and even if you don't make it, you'll be among the stars." That's
yeah,
one. That's one of my adages that I've always kept.
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, we can all win is such a powerful mantra. How do you foster collaboration within a culture that often views success as a zero-sum game?
Well, experience matters, and I think what needs to be clarified is you have to create win-win situations because if you create win-lose situations, it's a lose because even if you do win, somebody's been hurt in the process. Somebody had to take a step back. That can definitely come back and echo and boomerang and it could cause you problems down the road. You don't every scenario, every negotiation I go into, I understand that I'm going to have to give. I'm not trying to go in there and crush my opponent. That's just a myth. That's nonsense because business is about building relationships. So
Yes.
you can't be building a relationship if you're hurting somebody that's trying to really do business with you. So no, that's like one of the first tenets of business that you really want to go in and try to figure out how both of you can walk away going, okay, I didn't get everything that I wanted, but I got what I needed. And then you build a relationship from there, and then you both can win. But yeah, I'm never going to be a proponent of, hey, go in there, the best man wins. That's nonsense because again, I don't burn bridges because you never know when you will need to cross them again. So you always keep those relationships intact, no matter how the relationship goes. You just want to always build relationships because you never know when you have to circle back. So no, I always try to make sure I advocate for win-win situations.
I like that a lot. Now, how do you blend authenticity with your professionalism to stay in tune with your culture while thriving in the corporate spaces?
I'm always going to be me. I'm always going to be authentic. I'm not going to change. I've been blessed enough monetarily, in business in general that I can be me. And
Right.
I'm not going to deviate from who I was. I tried that though. Let's get that out there, people. I tried that. When I was younger, I wanted to acclimate. I wanted to be, I mean, this was in the 9 to 5 world, but I had to wear the shirt and tie, the suit, and I never fit. Like I could never get to work on time. I was I was always in there. I had some of the best managers, and I would just sit in those meetings and like, why am I listening to you? Like I was trying to fit into a world that I didn't fit in. So
Yeah.
when I finally was released and I finally started running my own show and creating my own companies, this level of comfort that I'm in, it just fits me. And I can never see myself trying to do something else or be somebody else. You have to
Yeah.
do you. You have to be you, right? Authenticity comes from you being you, right? Everybody in the world has a podcast, right? But Stacey's podcast is built on Stacey, who she is as a person and a brand that can never be duplicated. And that's the thing. Like we have to create things that can never be duplicated, and that only comes from being original, being who you are. So I'm always going to be who I am. I'm the polished version of the best person I can be every single day. But I never model myself after anybody else. I've had role models. I see people, and I go, yeah, I like that, and I'll take a little piece of that. And then
Right.
I add it to myself, right? But I'm not into copycatting or, oh, I want to be like this person. I've never been that way anyway. And I
Yeah.
love just building who I am.
Right. Oh, I love that. I love that a lot. Now, your experience spans from industries like real estate, cryptocurrency and franchising. And how do you decide which ventures you're going to align with your values and your business goals?
That's a big part of it is definitely my values and what I like when I started that with my first franchise because that was my first step into business, and I
Mhm.
learned that it was really interesting because I was born in College Park, Maryland, predominantly DC metropolitan area, all black. So I
Yeah.
had been cocooned in this area for a very long time. So when I bought my first franchise, I had to fly out to Nebraska to meet the CEOs. I had never been around that many white people in my life, man. I was like, what is going on? I am really a minority, you know? But that point is it taught me that okay, what's important when I arrived and I was in their headquarters and we actually had a chance to talk, we had so much more in common than we had that, divided us. And it was my first opportunity to really see that okay, their values and their norms of that franchise, that's what
Mhm.
matters to me the most. It was like I really, really appreciated that they were all about family, they were all about business, they were all about just making sure that we delivered a service that was high end, quality, met their goals, and represented their company. And watching them behind the scenes, it taught me a lot. I was just like, okay, so yeah, when I make a decision, it's really all about how I feel about whoever I'm connecting with and whatever I'm doing. I usually now follow my passions. I'm really big on I like to take things from nothing and make them into something. That's why I
Yeah.
like real estate development, right? We'll buy a lot and we'll tear down the structure, and then it's this big brown mess on the ground. There's just nothing there, and then like we'll build a building, and
Yeah.
then one day people move into this building. That kind
Yeah.
of thing fascinates me, because it's gonna be there forever. I built
Right.
it. And I'm changing lives. So like I like that kind of thing. So I guess what I'm saying is I follow what I like to do because I learned a long time ago it's actually true that when you're doing something that you love, it's not work.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't
With
refuse.
family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
It's not
Right.
work at all. So you have to really key into whatever it is that you really, really love to do, that you wake up thinking about and you think
Yeah.
about all the time. Take that avenue.
I love that. Oh, that's awesome. Now, with so many professional roles like a mentor, coach, or franchisor, how do you juggle multiple businesses while maintaining quality across the board?
Yeah, that's very, very, very important because I tell you, earlier in my career, I actually found myself in a space where I was doing too much. And
Yeah.
that's not healthy. Nope, nope, nope. Don't ever do that, people, because there are a lot of owners out here, or there are a lot of moguls out here that have owned too many businesses at the same time, and you never hear about those businesses for a reason because they failed, right?
Yeah.
So now with me, I try my best that when I create a company or a brand, when I'm creating something, I take my time, make sure it's well established, make sure that it's successful before I move on to anything else. So again, I've been in business for decades. So
Right.
the the conglomerate that I've built has been over time, but
Yeah.
I never try to own two or three businesses at the same time as a startup.
Right.
That's a recipe for disaster. So if I do a startup, I start it. It has all of my focus. It has everything that I can put into it. When I feel like it's now okay, the wheels are on the train. The train is moving. We have great systems in place. We have great people in place. It's profitable. Then I'll think about another entity. That's the only time I'll do it. I don't do it any other way. And I don't really consider like my stock market portfolio is something I've been doing for years, for
Mhm.
decades too. So it's easier to manage those things. That's not really like running a company. That's just me making transactions. That's a little different. but I'm clearly talking about just when I'm creating entities or businesses. Yeah, it's one entity at a time.
Oh, I like that. A lot of people, too many times, they try to juggle too many things at once. They get involved in, they have one stable business, and then all of a sudden, maybe the business is going slow, or they just get another opportunity. They jump into that opportunity, and then they see another opportunity, and before you know it, they have like maybe three or four different things they're doing. But then the quality of some of these businesses decline, and then people feel it, and then it's very hard because then you're trying to juggle businesses, and sometimes they're declining because you can't give them 100% attention. And even if you delegate, it's very difficult too. A lot of times I see people, they're trying to sell the idea, oh, get into this business and you can, get three or four like in a franchise, and it's very easy to delegate. It's not always so easy to delegate. It's not always so easy to stay on top of everything and make sure everything's flowing right. There are people who do it, but it's a difficult task, I would think.
Absolutely. And plus, when you're an entrepreneur, you're always thinking about what's next. You're always thinking about what can you do, and what can you own, and what can you build. And
Yeah.
I had to really just kind of calm all that down and go, okay, it's what we're talking about. I'm like, okay, these are my core entities. This is going to be my focus. I'm not doing anything else. Right.
Right.
So I did sign the 3 franchise deal with Marco's Pizza. They're new to this coast, right? And
Yeah.
I said to everybody in my circle, I'm like, this is it. I'm not
Hmm.
bringing any more entities on. I'm not doing any more business. Everything that I have now, we need to do incredibly, incredibly well. No
Right.
more anything. That's just don't hit me with any emails. Don't don't try to shop. Don't shoot me any deals. Don't I'm not interested. I'm only interested now in building what I have. And I think
Right.
that's very, very important because it's not about me anymore, right? I mean, I'm in an excellent place, but now I'm really actually executing on generational wealth, right? So that means
Hmm.
that when it's time for me to go, my kids are gonna have to be in place and they have to understand this is our conglomerate. Now who's gonna do what? Right?
Right.
Who's running what entity and how are we gonna do it? And this is who you're gonna be accountable to. This is how we're gonna do this thing. So if you really want to create generational wealth and you want to make sure that you pass it along, you have to give them an organized portfolio, right?
Yes.
And if you're
Hmm.
not doing that, then you're making a mistake. So that's where I'm spending my time now, right? Again, I'm closing down on doing deals, and now I'm talking to family and bringing them in. And like for the Marcos deal, my kid's gonna be working there every summer, right? Like you guys are making pizza. That's what we're doing here, right? Like we're gonna show y'all the ins and outs of a franchise from the ground floor. We're gonna run
Uh-huh.
this together, right? Right?
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
going. So when it's time, when we get to 3 or 10 of those, they'll know that business in and out, right? And it's gonna be like, Bryce, do you want to run that? And it'd be fine. And then I'll talk. And my daughter, she loves real estate, so it's gonna be Marche. You're gonna be running the development deals, right? So every last one of them now, I'm trying to put them in a space where they can do
Right.
what I'm doing and keep it going, right? You can't do that if you're trying to always find another deal and this and that. Like, no, you have to build it, and now it's time to like make sure that it's passed along to the next generation.
100%. 100%. Now, with you've mentioned courage and consistency as a key to success. Can you share one moment where these principles have helped you to overcome challenges in business?
Absolutely. I mean, it's happening right now. The stock market is tanking, right? And most of us veterans know this is a Warren Buffett comment that when everybody's running for the doors, there's blood in the streets, you have to invest. That takes
Yeah.
courage because everything is going down. Everything is
Hmm.
going down. It feels like the world is coming to an end. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you see, my portfolio was going in the wrong direction. Who's
Hmm.
going to invest at that moment, right?
Yeah.
That's the point, right? It takes courage. You're never going to be able to catch a falling knife perfectly. But
Yeah.
if you're paying attention to those positions, those assets, as those positions go down, you do have to go, okay, I've been watching these companies all for 3 years. I know I'll put it out there. Meta is one of my favorites. I'm like, oh, Meta at $500 is a steal. I have to
Yeah.
jump in. That takes courage because now I don't know what's going to happen, but I know the number that makes me smile, and I'm going, yeah, if I can get it at, because I was saying when it was at 740, I was like, if it ever, I don't even know why this was in my head. I wish I had quoted at 500 because I was in it at 500. I wish I didn't sell, but if it ever goes back to 500, I'm jumping back in. So what? See, so I have to jump back in because I said if it ever goes back to 500, I'm in.
Yeah.
But it takes courage, right? Because courage is when you are at your when you're at your scaredest moment and you're very uncertain, you still have the ability to think clearly and make the
Yeah.
decision and
Mhm.
execute on it and go, we're gonna let it ride. And
Yeah.
that's that level that gets you to the next level, right?
Yes.
You have to be able to go, all right, I'm trained for this. I know this. I've been watching the market for 20 years. I've watched it collapse many times. All right,
Right.
this is nothing new to me. Step in. So yeah, courage is always a key component of almost everything I do. When we started real estate development, because we used to do flips, right? Just like you see on TV. And I was like, this is not what you see on TV, people. I
Mhm.
mean, it's a margin there, but it's not the way they lay it out on TV. So we did
Yeah.
that for like 5 years, and I learned a lot in the business. But my partner at the time, he still wanted to do flips, and I was like, yeah, this isn't doing it for me. It's just too much work. Too Everybody gets paid before me. I have to deal with these contractors, la la la. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, you know what? I don't know a lot about real estate development, but what does it take to, if we're flipping, I mean, construction is construction. So again, I didn't really know a lot about real estate development, but a deal dropped in my lap and it was a great lot in Washington, D.C. I was able to get the deal done. I
Yeah.
started calling some of my contacts, found me a really good general contractor, started working with architects. And next thing you know, here we go. We have a 6-unit multi-family building in DC, my very first one. I didn't know
Yeah.
what I was doing, right? But it
Hmm.
takes courage to jump in and try. And
Yeah.
now it's about to be fruition. It's going to be a fruition and brought to fruition. So, courage is always a part of being an entrepreneur, being in business. You have to step into it and you just really have to trust your instincts and you have to believe in yourself.
Yes. Oh, 100%. 100%. Now, how do you think business can bridge the gap between profitability and creating a positive social impact?
Yeah, it's business is beautiful because you definitely can achieve financial freedom. However, I believe that when you do have a brand, you have to stand for something in our world. It's a lot of people have, things that drive them, and for me, I really have a deep appreciation for not only the homeless, but also at-risk youth in my community,
Hmm.
and my heart's always going to be there no matter what. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm that guy that if they got a sign and I have $5, I'm like, here, take it. Like, what? I,
Yeah.
I like to ask some questions though. I'm like, what happened? How'd you come homeless? Is there anything else I could do? I don't really like just giving them money, but at the
Right.
same time, like, you have to be able to stretch out and impact socially because I think what people underestimate is the collective.
Hmm.
It's not just about my action, but if there are 10,000 Marcels out there giving back to the homeless, 10,000 Marcels out there dealing with at-risk youth, trying to be a great mentor to at-risk youth, we have an impact. We
Oh,
have a
yeah.
serious impact because it's like an army, right? So I know sometimes it might feel like you're by yourself, but I'm not by myself, right? It's a
Right.
collective. So yes, I mean, in business, you have a responsibility to then, if you're fortunate enough to be successful, you should definitely reach out and try to figure out how can you help in those causes that impact you the most.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to chumbacasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at chumbacasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, yeah, that's a great answer. And I feel like mentors play such a huge role in our younger generation. If you have a good mentor and you really are able to connect with that mentor can change your life forever because
Absolutely.
you are looking at their values, you're looking at the way they do things. You're thinking to yourself, hey, they came from here, now they're here and they can do this. Why can't I? And it's an inspiration, it's motivation, it helps you get resilience, and a good mentor will not just, they will challenge the person too, and
Yes.
that even brings, a better, stronger, more, I guess more resilient type child that grows into a young man or young woman and was able to really take on any challenge, because I think one of the biggest things today is that a lot of people dive in and they try to save their kids when it comes to parenting all the time. But the best thing you can do is to sometimes let them learn a little bit, maybe let them fall a little bit, and then let them get up and let them understand what the mistake was and how can they fix that for the next time. And that, I think, brings a lot of character, resilience, and strength to a younger generation. And people like yourself, helps by mentoring those young generations.
Well said. I mean, that's the best thing you can do for your kids. You have to let them fall and fail. Period.
Hmm.
I'm always going to be there for my kids, but I like to let them kind of learn. I always tell them like you had time with me and your mom as parents, but at the same time, when you go off to college and you grow up in that arena too, you'll be taught life lessons that we couldn't teach you. So yeah, just letting them fall and understanding that failure is a part of the process makes an incredibly strong adult. You can't babysit your kids and then turn around and be like, well, why are they so needy? Why do they need so much help? Why are they so soft? It's because you
Yeah.
didn't let them grow up. Like you just have to let them grow up if you want them to be strong adults. So I agree with you 100% on that.
Now you actively work as a risk youth and with the homeless. Like, what has been the most rewarding part of using your success to give back to the community?
It's like you said, I think nothing is more impactful than when you're in front of a young kid and he actually can see that you've done it. Right?
Mhm.
Real life examples matter more than anything else. I mean, specifically with this generation now, where I mean they're guided by the internet, a lot of imaging. It's
Yeah.
okay, but real life is a lot of hard work. Nothing's instantaneous. And when they see you and they see that you look like them, and they go, "Oh wow!" and they can see the fruits of your labor, they go, "Okay, I can do it." And I think that's the situation or that's the scenario to me that matters most because I had great role models when I was young, and they helped me go, "Oh, okay, there is another way to do things." And that example, when you impact people on that level, they'll always remember you, and it's something that it lasts forever.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great answer. Now, you're passionate about helping others and hustle and grow. What are some of the overlooked steps people can take today to create an upward mobility in their lives?
Definitely, just focus on the number one step is when you're really trying to achieve something different. You have to visualize what it's going to be,
Hmm.
and then on that path, you also have to figure out, is this something that I really truly want to do for me? Not for everybody else and not for any other reason other than this is what I love to do.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that every person on the planet has a special skill set.
Oh,
And when you lean into that special skill set, that's where you find true happiness and fulfillment, and that's where you could win. So your overall mental focus is, I believe, one of the most important variables because when all is said and done and you face everything that you're going to face regardless, you have to believe in yourself.
yes.
Yeah, it starts here, right? And no matter how hard it gets, I always feel like it's going to be okay because, I'm me.
Mhm.
I know how to win. So I'm going to win no matter what. Even when the fat lady sings, I'm putting the headphones on and I'm turning up the volume and I'm going to keep going because I'm not even concerned about that.
I love that. That's the way you should be. I think sometimes people just get so distracted with, you know, pleasing others that they forget about what really matters to them. I've seen people go to school and graduate and they come out of college and they don't even want to be what they went to school. They were kind of like they did it because they thought mom and dad maybe wanted them to be it. Mom and dad pushed them to be it, and they didn't really stop and think, what do I want? What do I need from life? What is my special skill set? Sometimes the best thing you could do is really take time to know yourself, and then you're not worry about what others think, but worry about what's best for you.
And it's never too late. A lot, like you said, that's a typical path where, my daughter is 17 and she's starting to look at colleges and there's a lot going on. And I'm like, Jordan, what do you want to do? She's a
Yeah.
great artist, right? I'm like, you can do that for your side hustle. Like we can build that into something down the road, but I'm talking about how you're gonna feed yourself early. But the point is, it's like you said, I'm like, do what you want to do. Like whatever it's going to be, make sure it's you because
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of a sad adult that's doing something that they really don't want to do. you know,
Right.
and they were pushed down some path because their mom was a doctor and dad was a lawyer, and they just felt like by default that's what they had to do, and they really didn't want to do it. Yeah, okay. I mean, you're making a great, dollar, and you're making money, but are you happy? Like that's not what this is about. This is a one shot deal. You get one take in life, people. It's a movie. It's one shot. You get one
Yeah.
shot. You don't get to do it over. You don't get to, I don't want to be 80 and go, I wish I had.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not. That's not gonna be me. I'm gonna be exhausted if I'm still here, and everybody's gonna clap for me when I'm gone. No crying, only clapping.
I love it. I love it. Now, what advice would you give to young people who are underprivileged backgrounds who don't yet see their potential for achieving greatness?
Always, just focus on what you want to be and and try your best to get a skill set. Just try your best to get a skill set. I know your surroundings are tough, and I know that you might not have the best role models around you when you're in certain situations and neighborhoods, but try to figure out what you want your life to look like down the road, and lean into that, and try to pick up a skill set. I'm not saying that you have to go to college these days. There's so many ways now, so many skills and trades that pay a nice amount of money. Everything. It's a lot of trades out there. Figure out what skill people will actually pay you for and start taking that path. Because once you create a skill or you have a skill and you graduate with a skill that people pay for, now you've set a foundation for actually financial change. And that's what gets you out of the hood, financial change. When you can actually pay and get your way out of the hood by living somewhere else, getting a great job, all that starts from some level of skill. So that's my biggest focus when I'm dealing with young kids that are basically still in certain situations. I'm like, what are we going to do? Like, what can we do long term that's going to help us, secure our lives? And that's the focus.
I find that a lot of times when low income areas, you find that a lot of people just look around their environment and say, well, this is the way it's going to be because look at everyone around me. They're not excelling. They can't go to college. They can't afford this. They can't afford that. So this is all I can do because everyone around me, is only going to one certain level and that's it. And so how do you change their mindset and say, no, just because everyone around you is doing this, you have the ability to excel to here, because a lot of times people just get lost in that, well, this is my environment. This is what I'm only capable of doing because everybody else is doing it and I'm not going to be any better.
Well, I learned a long time ago that you're not going to be able to save everybody
Mhm.
because unfortunately that mindset is pretty pervasive.
Yeah,
However, there are going to be diamonds in the rough that can hear you. There
right.
are kids that are going, yeah, I'm bigger than this, I'm more than this. Because I was in those environments, right? You can look around and you go, yeah, this is not the life that I'm going to have. I'm going to be more. Those are the kids I'm talking to. Because like you
Yeah,
said, there's going to be a crowd that's like, yeah, my uncle was a drug dealer, my aunt did this and that, and this is what I'm destined to be, an alcoholic. They've locked into it, and
yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot there. But I need to focus on those that really are trying to hear the message and really want to figure out how they can change their lives. And they're there. So again,
yeah,
you're not going to take everybody out of, those situations. But if you just keep on speaking with your message,
yeah.
you'll hit the right people and they'll go, okay. They'll be like, okay, that makes sense. He did it.
Right,
I can do it. Let me figure it out.
right. Oh, 100%, 100%. Now, what role does storytelling play in inspiring social change? How do you use your personal experiences to motivate others to dream bigger?
Oh, that's my book, Hiding in Plain View. That's what it's all about. I mean, Hiding in Plain View is the book that's going to transition to a script, the script that's going to transition to a movie, and a movie that's going to win an Oscar. Remember, I told you that.
Yes.
But yeah, Hiding in Plain View is all about that because it's a story that focused on four young men that were raised in a really nice middle class neighborhood, and then for some odd reason, they decided that they wanted to get involved with criminal activity.
Right.
Interesting enough, yeah, they actually were pretty successful at what they were doing. And
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on chumbacasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void were prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
Over time, they became inundated in crime, death, incarceration, drug addiction. But one of those kids, he emerged like a phoenix and changed
Yeah.
his life. And he was able to do a lot of different things and find success in a lot of different areas. And he never forgot about that. And that's what it's all about. Like understanding that, in times when it's really challenging, choices matter.
Yes.
The first half of my life, I made a whole lot of bad choices. And
Hmm.
then when I decided I need to make some good choices here because I can't blame anybody for my outcomes but myself.
Right.
Once I took personal responsibility, my entire trajectory changed.
Right.
And that's something that I try to make sure that I communicate to everybody. Like it is about your choices, and you
Yeah.
have to take responsibility for those choices. And the bad outcomes, you need to own them, and you need to figure out how you can make amends. Because yeah, I mean, like God ain't gonna be listening to excuses, man. When it's when it's time to get in there, right? So I need to be able to say, listen, I know what you know, but listen, let me make my case here, right? So, and I'm really serious
Hey,
about that. So
let me in the pearly gates.
yeah, like, hold up. I have a story that I can tell. Let me tell you, I tried my best. So, I mean, I really believe in that. Like, you really, if you do things, you need to try to make sure that you make amends and you do positive things as well. And that's me. Like everything I do now, my circle, my people, the people around me, everybody, it's all positive. That whole old world, I had to burn that down decades ago, but I never forgot about it. Right? I know the people that are still there, and I remember circumstances, and I go, yeah, I'm glad I took a different avenue. But yeah, that's what I try to let everybody know on this planet that you're not pigeonholed into one decision. You don't have to do what everybody else think is going to happen. Like if people are going to count you out and people think it's over, it doesn't have to be over. You are the dictator of your circumstances and your outcomes. And as long as you believe that you can make a difference, then make that difference.
100%, 100%. And when you wrote the book, now everybody has a reason for writing a book. Something sparks, something ignites them, and they're like, because writing a book is a very hard thing. It's not easy. It's it looks easy, but it's a draining process. It takes a lot of thought and time, and you really have to go deep in your emotions. If you want to write a real good book, you have to go in your gut and you have to bring those emotions to the present and really put it on paper, and a lot goes into it. So what inspires you, and what was your ignition behind all that made you want to write this book?
Oh, my success, because it was so night and day. Like
Yeah.
it really showed me that we have a lot of young entrepreneurs out here that if they would just use their skill set for the positive,
Hmm.
their whole lives could be different.
Yeah.
Right? So, because to navigate that environment, you have to be intuitive, conceptual, you have to
Mhm.
be a planner, you have to be strategic. All these things work in the boardroom, right?
Yes.
You have to be a great marketer, right? So, like those skills are there, but
Right.
they have to use them correctly. And that's what motivated me because when I wrote that book, my whole life was just shifting and I wanted to capture that first part on paper. So I had written the first like 5 chapters and then
Yeah.
life happened. I got married, blah, blah, blah. It sat on my desk for 10 years. 10 years. It sat there for 10 years. And then one day when I finally felt like, okay, I've done all of this, I said, man, let me go back and finish this book
Yeah.
because now I could capture a whole like 3 decades now from being in that space to transition into now. And I was like, that is such a night and day scenario. I was like, if I can get this on paper, it's definitely going to change lives. And that's what I did.
I love that. I love that. And I think it will change lives. I think when people see people go from one extent of their lives and they're able to overcome the obstacles, rise above the chaos, and make their dreams a reality, it is such an inspiring thing for someone. It is the motivator. It is key for someone to say, well, if they did it, I can do it too, and
Absolutely.
if they have the dream, a book like yours can make that dream come true because they just need a little direction and guidance. And I'm sure in your book you show not just storytelling, but I'm sure you give some good advice and maybe some steps on how to go from, A to Z, so sort of thing.
Absolutely. For any person out there that's struggling or doesn't know their direction, or they feel like they're down and out, or they just feel like life's not treating them fairly, read my book, because all of us have it inside of us. And when you decide that, you know what, I'm not laying down. No, I'm not
Hmm.
laying down. You're gonna have to take me out because I'm not laying down anymore. You can change your life.
Oh, 100%. Now, where can people find this book?
Oh, I'm everywhere. It's on Amazon. It's audio books. Just plug in Hiding in Plain View by Marcel Clarke. It'll come up. And yeah, it's everywhere. It's on all major platforms, in all major distribution channels. It's everywhere. So it's easy to find.
I love it. Now, what piece of advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Calm down. Calm down, stay focused, and it's all gonna work out. I used to be a boy, I was a firecracker, man. I was I was everywhere doing everything, doing way too much. But yeah, just calm down. I mean, I'm fortunate to be here, honestly. But yeah, calm down, Marcel. Focus on what's in front of you. It's all gonna work out.
I love it. And what book or podcast or resource has inspired you over the years that made you really, change your view and maybe inspired you to go in a certain direction in your life?
Oh, Stephen Covey, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. That was the main, because I love the one chapter that always sticks in my mind is his two circles of
Mhm.
control and concern, right? So
Ah,
anything I can actually manage, control outcomes, but concern is people and their opinions and all that. I stay on the left. I stay in this lane. I don't pay attention to concerns, or I'm not overly worried, or is it going to work
yes.
out? I'm really, really focused on my people, my staff, my family, the people that I can really touch and things that I can do. Everything else over there, I actually now turned that into my prayer circle. So if I just pray that up and let it go, and I'm just like, "Did you hear me? I hope you heard me." But yeah, that book changed my whole trajectory too, because it was just kind of like it helped me calm down and actually focus on what matters. And
Yes.
I've never deviated from that. So yeah, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, favorite book of all time.
I love that. I love that because it's so true. If you keep worrying about the future, you don't know what the future has in store. Anything can change at any moment. But if you're focusing on the present and you're focusing on right now and what's going on now and what you can do right now to better yourself and the people around you, then you're being productive. But once you go into that circle where you're just worrying and thinking about what could be and what could happen and da da da, then you're setting yourself up for failure, anxiety, and every other thing that's not good for you.
Yeah, you're lost because there's nothing you can do about all of that.
Hmm.
Like you said, I mean, outcomes change, the future changes, people change, the world changes. It's a lot of change going on. So to
Yeah.
be worried and concerned, like it doesn't work that way. The only thing you can do is focus on what you can impact and doing that to the best of your ability. And that's why I'm cool with that, right? I'll give everything 100% because if it doesn't work out, I'm all right. I'm just not okay if somebody doing 50% and then they like, oh, why didn't I get an A plus? Because you didn't give you didn't give it 100%. I'm gonna leave it all out on the field and then let it do what it does. But I'm okay with that. And that's the whole point. All of that worrying is stressful. Like that's all that can't help you. That can't help you move forward. That's just gonna wear you down and stress kills. So like
It does.
what are you doing over there? Like, nah, focus on what you can control and leave it at that.
I love it. I love it. Now, when you're not working, what's your favorite way to recharge yourself and reset?
Always hitting the gym, hanging out with my friends. Tonight's poker night with the fellas. family all the time with my kids, messing around, whatever they want to do. It's just all about like I like Friday hits, no more business on the weekends. I don't do anything unless it's an emergency. Like Saturday and Sunday, just straight downtime. Business is only Monday through Friday. And balance matters, right? Like you have to have balance. Not having balance facilitated my ex. Like I'm divorced now because I did all I wanted to do was grind, chase money, paper. That's not how life works. You have to have balance, and if you don't have balance, you're failing. So yeah, I try to do everything I can just to kind of just detach from business on the weekends, and it works.
And what is next for Marcel Clarke?
Next is my movie deal for my book, so I'm really going to make sure that happens. And just building my current enterprises, and just trying to just kind of now consolidate everything under one umbrella and just be as successful as I can. But now I'm kind of just rotating towards just helping others and mentorship, and really trying to give back to the world in this community, and just showing my appreciation for all of my blessings, and just trying to be positive and put out positive vibes wherever I can.
I love it. I love it. This is awesome. Now, if you had to, in a couple of words, and think about a couple of turning points that you from this conversation that you want to emphasize, that you feel are powerful and that you want people to walk away with, what would be some of the things you'd like to emphasize from this conversation today?
Take control of your life, no excuses. Don't blame other people for your outcomes. Don't make excuses for not doing something. Like put all of that away and take control and start doing it now. And take total responsibility for all outcomes. No excuses. Like whatever you decide to do, own it. Because people are smart. People hear excuses. People hear people trying to scapegoat, and it's everybody but me. That's
Right.
weak. Yeah, you have to take it. Just own it yourself, and just be willing to live with your outcomes. And I promise you, you'll be in a much better place.
I love it. I love it. Now, what are some of the services that you offer?
I offer mentorship, I offer coaching. Those are my two premises when it comes to the public. Definitely, if you want to just reach out to me, you can find me on marcelclark.co. So I didn't get the .com people, but marcelclark.co. Go to that website. You'll see all of my ventures, everything that I'm doing. You have a place where you can find me. You can reach out to me. I'll connect with you directly. But those are my two major platforms when it comes to dealing with the public.
I love it. Well, this has been amazing, Marcel. I thank you so much for being on the show. Today's interview was outstanding. You really provided us with a lot of great information, and you're going to be helping millions of people because you have the ability. You not only are you're not preaching, you've lived the life. And you've learned, and through your knowledge and through your wisdom, now you're helping others, and that's the best way. Anyone could go to school and get a degree and learn techniques, tools, and strategies. But when you've gone through life and you've lived it and you know it, that's the best way to teach somebody. And I love what you do by helping others and mentoring to young children because I think teens, young children, our next generation need all the help they can get. So when there's people like you that are such great mentors and have such great outlook on life and you have such great knowledge to share, you're doing outstanding things for the community. And I just want to say thank you for that because we need more people like you, people with a positive attitude and giving people hope and really putting them in the right direction. So thank you.
I appreciate those kind words, Stacey, and thank you for giving me this platform to put these things out there and let everybody know what I'm trying to do out here. So I owe you a huge thank you as well, and definitely going to wish you much success because I can see you have it all together over there. So hey, listen, I mean you have a million listeners for a reason.
Well, thank you so much. This has been amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate you. You have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
You too.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to chumbacasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at chumbacasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No